Nuclear Fission and Power Plants by Hugh Healy, August Kalina, Ben Carr, and Nolan Riley.
Nuclear fission, what is it? According to the U.S. Information Administration, nuclear fission is where a neutron collides with a uranium atom, splitting it and releasing a large amount of energy in the form of heat and radiation. In a nuclear power plant, the nuclear reaction happens in the core, releasing heat, where that heat mixes with water. This gives off steam, which spins a turbine generating electricity. This electricity is transferred to the transmission lines, and that excess steam goes back into a condenser and either becomes water, or that stuff that does not go back to water becomes steam and is released. Now, what are the benefits to nuclear fission? Nuclear fission is a clean energy source. According to the U.S. Department of Energy, no greenhouse gases are released due to nuclear fission. There's also high energy output. According to the worldnuclear.org, a single kilogram of uranium produces 20,000 times as much energy as a kilogram of coal. Nuclear energy also creates jobs. Again, according to the U.S. Department of Energy, nuclear fission supports about 500,000 jobs in the United States. Problems. Nuclear waste is the main problem with nuclear fission. According to the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission, nuclear waste is the toxic byproduct of nuclear fission, and it can last hundreds of thousands of years. Accidents are also a leading problem with nuclear fission. Accidents like Fukushima, Japan in 2011 and Chernobyl, Ukraine in 1986 were accidents where reactors melted down, causing nuclear fallout and releasing great amounts of harmful radiation. These events in and of themselves killed about 31 people, and then there were about another 30 deaths later due to radiation complications. Now, according to greenamerica.org, an organization that promotes environmentally aware ethical practices, nuclear energy is also high cost. Materials are expensive, and facility upkeep is also very expensive.
So what would our first solution be? Well, according to Rebecca Smith of the Wall Street Journal for Business and Finance, the simplest solution would be to improve the way that these plants are built and designed. This would, implementing further safety protocols and effectiveness, would launch nuclear fission into a sustainable source of energy worldwide. The limitations. The safer that a power plant becomes, the more expensive it becomes to maintain. And while something could be safer, this plant, for example, it would become less efficient from all the protocols and implications. If implicated, these safer processes would only fix public outlook. People would see nuclear fission as a safer and more reliable source of energy, but the cost of maintaining these new and improved plants wouldn't stand up to the benefits, meaning that it may not be as beneficial as we thought.
Nuclear reactors with heat sensors. So according to John Castro, an HVAC technician at Palo Verde nuclear power plant, he says that we could take our hands off of the controls in the reactor, would automatically shut down due to convection currents and heat sensors in the reactor. This is why heat sensors are important. They can sense a sharp temperature change, and they will mitigate nuclear accidents in the future. This will help lead the way to gaining public approval. Limitations and implications. So one of our limitations is that it doesn't solve the radioactive waste problem, which is a main problem in nuclear fission, and it can be very expensive to keep the facilities safe and pay for all these heat sensors. The implications, it obviously improves safety. If in a war, let's say there's a nuclear reactor under attack, it can shut down and it won't cause any radiation, and then it will also improve efficiency. it'll shut down, and then it'll get back up quickly.
Now our third solution, to reuse and re-enrich spent fuel. According to John Castro, this will decrease the total amount of raw on this plant, or radioactive waste. Secondly, this provides long-term economic benefits because we can do less uranium mining since we can just convert the spent fuel into more fuel. Lastly, this conserves our amount of uranium since uranium is a finite source. This is a diagram of the full nuclear fuel cycle. So we're just going to focus on the reprocessing area. So they reprocess it and they split it into uranium and then they split it into plutonium. Now the uranium goes back to the full cycle, but the plutonium is waste and it is the main limitation to this process. Plutonium is the main thing used in nuclear bombs, and so this causes a public insecurity because if someone targets this place, it can create a huge explosion, killing many people and destroying the environment around it. The second limitations are the high costs that come with reprocessing and reusing spent fuel. The implications would be that the total amount of radioactive waste on the planet would decrease, which is a main problem with nuclear energy, and it would conserve the amount of uranium that we have and would create more job opportunities.
The best solution is to plan nuclear plants out better and improve their design. People would feel safer and would be more likely to approve of investment for these innovations. The better design of the plants would keep them safe from being destroyed and causing harm to the environment. The International Energy Agency says the use of nuclear has reduced energy-related emissions by 4% within the last 50 years. By improving the design of these plants, lots more nuclear plants could be made and be kept safe. The design innovations would also be extremely important so that future warfare, which is becoming increasingly more dangerous, would not cause threats to these plants. We believe that this is why this solution is the best.
This is our bibliography.
That's the end of our presentation. Thank you.
7 minutes, 23 seconds. Okay, so you guys, can you get P110 off your screen?